All right, welcome everybody to our latest Live Motocross podcast. As I'm joined by former star racer and social media legend Jackson Richardson, who keeps bringing the heat. The most recent banter of late was particularly excellent from Germany, so make sure you check that out. But as we chat all things AMA motocross, obviously looking back at Thunder Valley and previewing High Point, just chatting moto in general. So, firstly, thank you to everyone for listening and supporting the site. We really appreciate it. We'd also like to thank our partners in Fly Racing at Dirt Store, Fuchs Silkerline, and Firepower for all their incredible support, as without them, none of this would be possible. All right, Jats, thanks for joining us again, mate. How's life? Been the busy schedule, mate? You had plenty of golf in, the body's recovering, mate. You're getting back to the pre-Europe sort of state.
yeah, no, we're just slowly working our way back into form. I mean, the injury with the back did hold me back for a little bit. Had to take a extra little bit of a hiatus from the golf clubs, but no, we got it sorted now. Went out for a hit on the weekend, shanked a fair few, so the form is not quite where it was when I left, but no, I can't complain. I'm just glad my back's all good and I'm finally over the sickness from this Euro trip. I've finally gotten over that hurdle at least.
Oh, mate, it's good to have you back fully firing on all cylinders. And obviously, I guess we'll start off with talking about Thunder Valley on the week. And that track was pretty gnarly, mate. Pretty demanding, some really big ruts there. A lot of separation between the top guys, and then the even from like the top two and then third, there was quite a large gap in the 250s, as well as a lot of the other racing in those sort of main positions. But yeah, that rain in the lead up obviously made for it quite difficult. A lot of rental cars getting stuck, people were saying, and just
Yeah.
navigating the paddock was hard enough, let alone that racetrack and that roost. You could hear Tomac saying just how savage it was, mate. You've raced there. So give us your take on how that Thunder Valley shaped up. Super entertaining round, though, that's for sure.
Oh man, yeah, the racing, I mean, across both classes were epic on the weekend. And yeah, like for all the rain that they had leading into that one, man, the track couldn't have like ended up any better because it was pissing down the day before. I thought we were in for a full mutter, especially because like I seen like, the footage of them tearing the track up, and I honestly didn't think they had it sealed like before it started pissing down, and I was like, oh no, it is going to be a nightmare out there tomorrow. And then I made the critical mistake jumping ahead. I seen the rain coming down, and I thought, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity to take Aaron Plessinger for an overall win here. Paying
Oh.
26-1. I got in the group chat, messaged my boys saying, boys, you got to put money on this bloke for a win tomorrow. And they were like, are you sure? I was like, mate, I know a wet track when I see one, and he is going to be thriving in it. And then it wasn't until the morning of when we got up to watch the first moto, and I was like, oh no, the track has formed up brilliantly, although it was still obviously gnarly. And the design that or the changes that they made to it now, because High Point, I mean, not High Point, Thunder Valley used to be a fairly high speed. There was a lot of long downhills, a lot of like long sweepers. I don't know if you remember those designs from the year before, but man, like you would carry some speed around that, and it seems like they've slowed the track down a lot. A lot of like, they got the wall down the bottom of the hill, a lot of like steep drop offs, but obstacles after where you got to check up. It seems like they've slowed the track down a fair bit and a lot of switchbacks, which I reckon is a good thing because, like, especially at that place gets chewed out big time. And when you're carrying a lot of speed, a lot of things can go wrong. So yeah, I thought the changes that they've made to that place have been good, and it made for awesome racing. I mean, those two 450 motos were absolute heaters. So yeah, hats off to the crew for salvaging the track, and then yeah, like big weekend for the boys. Like it was a brutal one. The altitude obviously played a factor with a couple of bike malfunctions and stuff like that. That was pretty crazy, but yeah, overall, what a banger of a round.
Yeah, it was really cool, wasn't it? Obviously, the boys in the commentary were doing a great job as well, and JS7 always has plenty of good value with Chance Hymas and that home cooking, mate. That was a pretty flawless effort by him. The two Honda boys, Chance and Jet getting the job done, mate. Just really impressive, just the technical masterclass, wasn't it, mate? So proficient, the balance, the coordination, obviously the balance of the bike too. They were just pretty well dialed, weren't they, mate, on that really demanding track. So the Honda dudes showing it how it's done and getting the starts, mate. They're looking pretty good, those
Man.
bikes.
Yeah, oh, big time. I mean, what a rebound for Chance Hymas. Getting food poisoning the week before. I had to DNF Moto 2 because, obviously couldn't keep any fluids or anything down. And then the heat would, absolutely kill him. And, that, just well, you would have thought derailed his season completely because losing 25 points to a absolutely unstoppable Hayden Deegan is not what you want 2 rounds in. And man, what a rebound! I mean, the first moto, obviously Deegan had his issues with the bike, but was able to get out to a good lead before the issues really set in for him. And then Moto 2 was just an absolute clinic, just straight up, heads up, beat Hayden Deegan. Coming off a weekend of getting food poisoning. So you almost think he's got to get a little bout of food poisoning before each round just to make sure he's good for the weekend. Because, man, that was one hell of a rebound. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, he was on rails, mate. Did you see the Hayden Deegan put a post up or an Instagram story? I didn't actually see it, but I believe it was something along the lines of no electrolyte deficiency here. Obviously, Deegan saying that having a dig at Hymas from Hangtown. Bit of the beef simmering there, mate, isn't it? It's pretty good value
Yeah.
stuff, isn't it?
Oh, shaping up to be box office. Yeah, and it was funny. Phil Nicoletti said something like that on the podcast when they had Hymas on Pulp MX. Said, What's the go here? You have an electrolyte deficiency the week before, and then you come out and absolutely dominate. He's like, I've got some questions about this. But yeah, hats off to Chance. I mean, who knows? Who knows what it really is? He said it was food poisoning, which you can't get over pretty quickly. But and it's just a combination too. You get food poisoning. It's an unbelievably hot day. You're gonna lose more fluids than normal. So yeah, for him to just come back, just put all that aside, lose 25 points. You're already down. You were down almost 100 points. And then you come out, go 1-1, pretty much dominate Moto 2. Just what a rebound. But yeah, Deegan, he's got to chuck the jab in there for sure. Keep things lively. So, which is awesome. It's what we need. We need a villain out there. You need a dragon for the Dragon Slayer. And I mean, Deegan is just the perfect guy for this situation. I mean, he just fuels the fire any chance he gets. I mean, I love how just on point he is with it at any given moment. Anything that goes on with another guy that's competitive with him, he's got to throw a jab in there. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it, mate? And he's so good. He sort of just can't help himself, mate. It's certainly good value, brings the spotlight on. And watching some of those, clips at Thunder Valley there and just anywhere, really, just the way he rides the bike, he's, especially on that track and the conditions, he's just hard on it, isn't he, mate? He's revving it. He's just giving it no respite whatsoever, mate. It's good value. And you see, you watch other guys like the Lawrence brothers and Hymas, they're just a lot gentler on the bike, mate. Still hard, but, not anywhere near as aggressive or brutal. So, yeah, you must, as a rider, mate, you must think it's good value. But it's kind of cool seeing dudes like Tomac and Barsha and Deegs just revving it out and just having a crack, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely more exciting to watch for sure when the guys are absolutely wringing the neck on these things. But it just goes to show there's it doesn't matter how in terms of the way you ride, what sort of style you ride with, Tomac's got a lot more of a different style to Jet, but they can go around the track at the same speed. It just goes to show that one style isn't necessarily the best, I mean, we could go back to talk about Carmichael. Carmichael by no means had you didn't watch Ricky Carmichael and go, man, this guy's technique is just impeccable. And he's just smooth as silk out there. When he was just bulldogging the thing around there, would get kicked all over the place, but he's the greatest rider to ever live, And then you had Stewart, whose style was just unreal, and they could be the same speed. It just goes to show one style isn't necessarily the best. it's just basically the way you work around it, really. So yeah, it was, it's cool to see, like, and that's what makes this sport great. Like one style isn't necessarily the best. It's like you see some guys suit different tracks and like different things like that. It's just all about how they navigate it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff, mate. Obviously, I suppose we'll get back to Jet. Obviously, 1-1, but I suppose the scary thing is he's still not content and he's still coming back to full fitness because he's really not that long off that injury is in the grand
Mm.
scheme of things, mate. So it's just even more impressive. He makes it look easy, but it's certainly not what he's doing. And, so technically strong in everything he does. And obviously he's physically there because it takes so much sort of core balance and just everything coordination to do that. So I guess they've been working on the bike, long testing days. They said they've been doing it and it's obviously paid off. And I guess he really has no weaknesses, does he, mate? And he's still building, which is ominous for the competition, mate. But it's really cool to see him and Tomac giving it their all and both rising to the occasion, mate. But it's going to be pretty hard to stop Jet's momentum when he keeps getting those starts and Tomac doesn't.
Oh man, absolutely. Yeah, he's going to be. Yeah, it's going to be a hard out for Tomac to try bring him in and get the points lead down to a manageable spot and in order to take advantage of it. Because, right now, I mean, with Jet, especially going 1-1 at Parla, coming off the knee reconstruction, a lot of time off the bike, like not really having much seat time before round one, and for him to have a performance like that. And then not only that, I think the most impressive thing for me is so far with Jet is just like the wins he's had. Like Parla was definitely impressive for sure, but then you go to Hangtown where it's probably the first motocross race that Jet's been beaten in straight up. Like he just straight up didn't have the speed to beat Tomac and Plessinger in Moto 1. But then he comes out Moto 2 like nothing ever happened, comes out, wins it, gets the overall, no big deal. And then has a first moto on the weekend where Aaron Plessinger makes a pass on him with like 2 minutes to go in the moto. The first time you've probably seen Jet get past that late in a moto. And for some guys go, what the hell? This hasn't happened before. Like, this is unusual, and it can sort of rattle him, but he just weathered the storm, got him back straight away, and then won. And then, he's got Tomac breathing down his neck in Moto 2, and it's just not phasing him. And then Tomac ends up making a mistake, goes down, and then, he walks away with another 1-1, gets another overall, extends the points lead out. I mean, that's just got to be super frustrating for the other guys to go, like, far out. We almost have him. Like, we had him, like, right where we wanted him, and we thought we were going to break him, but he just weathers the storm every single time. Like, it's just unbelievable what he's able to do.
You would have been getting excited about that bet coming off too when AP
Oh,
made
don't
that
worry,
move.
because my mates were into me on Sunday morning. They were like, "You've jibbed us here." One of my mates put $100 on him to win because I was that confident in it, and then I was like, "Oh no, I might be getting evicted from the group chat here with the horrendous weather information that I've put out there." But then I thought, you know what, Aaron Plessinger might save me here. He might help me save face. He's passed him late in Moto 1, put himself in a good spot for the overall for Moto 2. But then, that didn't end up working out. And then I cost the group some money this weekend. But with that being said, I mean, Plessinger has been the big improver of the 450 class so far. I mean, he had a good solid outdoor season last year, but man, he is looking good right now, and he's been consistent, and you gotta think he's due for that moto win at some point soon, because damn, he's been close over the last 2 weeks. And I mean, I'm hoping to see him get an overall by the end of the season, because the guy's due for one for sure.
Oh, absolutely, mate. He's in fine form, and you're looking at the odds this week, and he's at $1.90 to get on the podium. So that's pretty tasty. Maybe you could put that one to the group chat, mate. But his season's so good, eh?
I thought I was going to nail it there at 26-1. I thought I have just had a stroke of genius here. But hey, $1.90 for the podium. That's almost a guarantee with the way he's riding at the moment. The boy's cooking.
Yeah, mate, he's looking good. He's had a great start to the season. Obviously, not many blokes pass Jet straight up. But the very impressive thing is the speed and the intensity he's bringing. He's not really dropping off either. So the motivation's there. He wants to fight with these dudes. It's all positive, really, for him so far and full of confidence. The fans love him, mate, and obviously happy with the bike, which is key. So another step in the right direction. He'll come out swinging at high point, and I'm sure the KTM lads will have a few words to him about those Tomac comments in the press conference too, eh?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, that was gold, eh? So it's looking like he'll be there. Tomac with AP at KTM next year. Chase on his way to Cowie. That's an interesting one. We didn't really delve into it last week, but what's your take on the Chase Sexton situation, mate? It's a bit of a bizarre one, isn't it, mate? Many twists, turns. He's had a bit of an eventful time of it.
Yeah, no, it's been an eventful season for him. Yeah, and then like the crash at round one, obviously, like didn't help anything. And then there's all the talk of him going to Cowie, which by everything that you hear, it sounds like ink's been put to paper on that one. And then yeah, like he had obviously had a gnarly get off and he's banged up. And there's some fucking people out there that are even like questioning whether he's hurt or not, and he's just sitting out on purpose just to wait for next year. But I can't see that being the case for sure. Like, definitely not. He's a racer. If he's good to go, he's going to race. But yeah, definitely a lot of off the bike stuff away from the racing is taking the headlines. Not mainly last year as well, but this year especially. Like the off the track stuff that seems to be going down is just unreal. It's almost like we need TMZ to start covering this shit.
Oh, it's been a wild season for that stuff, mate. And I guess his potential future teammates definitely not having the time he'd like. Prado, he's obviously just not there with the bike. He said he wants more power, he wants it faster. He's not at the level to compete, which must be frustrating for him, frustrating for Cowie, and might be concerning Chase as well. But obviously, he's not expecting it to go like this. Was it 7, 6, 12, 5 were the first four, and then I think he was eighth and then didn't finish. So it's definitely
Yeah, what was the reasoning for that? Was that a mechanical or
yeah, I think it was maybe like a crash that led to an issue with the bike or something like that. But it's
right?
Definitely not anywhere near the level he wants to be or the level of the team expects him to be. So there's a lot of conundrums going on there. They need to work it out pretty quick because he pretty much lost Supercross this season, which is year one essentially as a full season again. So then you're looking to outdoors next year, and hopefully he's not going through the same problems because reigning world champ, 4-time world champ overall, it's not looking good, is it?
No, that's it, man. And the glaring concern, I guess, for me is like, yeah, like he's been struggling with results, but then you can tell he's not comfortable on that bike. And Moto 1 at Hangtown was especially like when I seen that, because it was like 10 minutes into the moto and he's sitting upright. He's not really attacking anything, which like if you've seen him like ride the gas in the past, obviously, and like, he's been on KTM gas his whole career. And like when you see him and like when he's at his best, like you can definitely tell. But yeah, at the moment, like Moto 1 at Hangtown, I was like, man, this guy just does not look comfortable. He almost looks like he's trail riding out there, like, to be honest, because like he's not really attacking anything. He's not charging through any of the bumps or anything, because it looks like to me the bike is a bit unpredictable, and he's not confident in like trying to go for anything and charge into bumps because he doesn't know how it's going to react. And yeah, power could be an issue as well, because he was pretty much a lock for a whole shot in the GPs at every single race. You knew he was coming out of the first corner in worst case scenario, third spot. And yeah, he just hasn't been getting the starts. And then, yeah, he's just been hovering around that 7 to 10 area for the most part. He had a fifth in Moto 2 at Hangtown, which was a bit better sign, but yeah, he's got his work cut out for him at the moment. I think the transition over to America is a little tougher than what he was expecting. And then also, he's coming into these races. I mean, it's like this for any Euro that comes over because they're able to get a lot of track time at those rounds before the racing starts. They have free practice, like qualifying, warm up. So, and then you go to America where you get 15 minutes, 15-minute sessions before you go out. And it's hard to adjust to a track, especially because you're in qualifying pretty much straight away. So it's not like you can go out, cruise around for a little bit. Okay, this is how this track sort of flows. Like, this is how I need to ride this. You got to basically get out there and go for 15-minute sessions, and then you sort of like not really sure like what to adjust on the bike because you're trying to get a fast lap. So you're not even thinking about what the bike's doing half the time. And then you got to come in and sort of debrief. And yeah, when that happens, you don't really make good changes. You can almost go backwards. So yeah, it's going to be tough for him. And then the heat at these races wouldn't have been helping him too much either. Because, yeah, like it is just brutal going out there at the moment. And once it gets over to the East Coast, when it really gets hot and the humidity really sets in, that's going to be another kettle of fish itself.
Yeah, it's definitely not looking great, mate. You look at his fastest lap time was over 4 seconds slower than Jet's. And,
Yeah.
Jet was a 2:08, Prado's was a 2:12, nearly a 2:13. And by the end of the moto, he's sort of clocking it around, like by lap 8, he's all the 2:19s and then 2:20s to finish the moto. And it's just obviously a bloke that can go as fast as he can. He's clearly not comfortable and there's something not right. And he's just, if things aren't right, as a racer, mate, you often can't perform to your potential. You don't want to
Mm.
perform to, you don't want to push it like you see with Tomac and Jet even in the first moto
Yeah.
at Hangtown. They're kind of unwilling to go to that next level. So that definitely plays a factor too, mate.
Yeah. No, that's it. Especially like you see those top guys and they're jumping into stuff with like zero regard for danger because they're so confident in their bike. They know how it's going to react. Like you see Jet bunny hopping off these braking bumps and stuff like that. Like that is a guy that is just completely in tune with his bike. And yeah, just when I watch Prado, I just see him rolling over these things and like just like coasting over these things. And you just go, man, this guy is just completely fish out of water at the moment. Like he's not confident in this motorcycle one bit. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. Like they better go do some serious homework before the next race because yeah, right now it hasn't been a real impressive start to the season, unfortunately.
Yeah, mate, there's a lot of head scratching going on as well, I think, mate. And obviously, we've got to touch on Hunter. Obviously, a bit unlucky to go 4-4 for fifth. Obviously, that crash,
Mm.
frustrating one, but the results definitely don't reflect the speed and the riding because he was excellent all weekend. The speed, skill was all there to see, wasn't it, mate? And I guess he said the most frustrating thing for him was getting the starts and then getting reeled in. And it's so
Mm.
hard on a track like that to recapture your rhythm after you sort of lose it, isn't it, mate? To get back in
Mm.
that flow. And I think he had an issue with the goggles, dirt getting in the goggles in the second one, but he deserves immense credit too for coming back from the injury and slotting back into pretty much front running speed because obviously Jet makes it look easy and it really isn't. So just a few words on Hunter, mate.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, Hunter as well. Like not having much seat time before the season got going, and he did his shoulder, which is an injury that I've had multiple times, and it's not an easy injury to come back from, like just from a recovery standpoint. But when you got to do it in a relatively short amount of time to come back and race against like the elite of the elite and to do what he's doing is like just as impressive as what Jet's doing. I mean, he's been in the top 5 pretty much every single moto. I mean, I think he has been. And yeah, like he's just been consistent. He's been there. It was a little bit of a rough one at the end of that first moto going down and taking a little bit to get going. That would have taken a bit of the wind out of the sails. But yeah, But yeah, it'd have to be frustrating too to go 4-4 for fifth overall. I mean, the points can just really do your head in at some point. But yeah, it's been a strong start for him as well. And man, I'm sure these boys are like gonna hit their stride at some point during the season. I mean, I know they're doing well right now, and like just imagine once they get a bit more seat time under the belt and get dialed in a bit more. Like, yeah, it's going to be unreal to watch.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. There's some really great racing in store as well, mate. And we look forward to High Point now. Quick preview there. Obviously, what were your keys to success from racing that one, mate? Obviously, last year, Jet went 1-1, and then Sexter and Hunter Lawrence filled out the podium in the 450s. And last year in the 250s, Ty Masterpool got that win over Deegan and Hymas, mate. So interesting results, definitely to take into account for this year's race. Maybe just your memories of High Point, anything that stood out, the particular challenges. Looks like a top part of the world out there, mate. The track and everything, they do a brilliant job, don't they? So just a few words on that.
Oh man, yeah, High Point was one of my favorite tracks to go race at. I love the way they they do that track, especially like off the start. I loved how they kept like the roll, like I don't know what they call that section over there, but it's just like, you got the tunnel, and then you jump into the rollers there, and then it's around the corner. Like that one around there is just absolutely iconic for me, especially growing up watching that, and it's just stayed there all those years. It's changed a lot since I've raced there last. I think the last time I raced there was 2016, and it's changed a lot since then. But yeah, it's a gnarly track. Depending on the weekend, I mean, it can get. I mean, I've raced there when it's been completely wet, and I've been there when it's been absolutely scorching hot. And the roost doesn't tickle there either. The roost there can knock you around a bit. But nah, overall it's a good track, and yeah, the fans there are absolutely nuts. I mean it's basically on the border there from Virginia to I forget the other state it's in there, but they get a good crowd there every year, and they just go absolutely nuts. And like I always like the way that track shapes up. It makes for good racing. I like the changes that they made there over the last few years. They've really upped the ante with it a bit. And yeah, so I'm excited for that one. We'll see what happens. 250 class might not be getting dominated like we thought. The undefeated streak is now gone, and a couple other guys have seen now that Deegan's like human and he's beatable, and that might spark some enthusiasm out of the other guys in there. Like not only Chance Hymas, but a couple other guys might get in the mix a bit.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I guess just on the top, you mentioned roost there, mate. What was the worst roost you've had in your career racing across the globe? Have you got one that stands out? Is Unadilla's pretty high up
Unadilla, by far. It's not even close, man. Unadilla, worst roost I've ever encountered. And it was funny because we talked about it off podcast last week with Liam, and he said the one track, not the one track, but the track he really wants to go do a national at was Unadilla, and I was just had my hand over my face. I was like, you got to be kidding me, dude. Out of all the places you want to go to, you want to go there? You'll have to run a mouth guard. Oh, you got to minimum run hand guards, because like I've seen it happen there over the years where people break fingers and hands get broken, noses get broken. That place is brutal. The layout itself is awesome. Like, take the roost factor out of it, the track's unreal. But the roost coming around that place, and I only raced there on a 250. I couldn't imagine what it's like on a 450. That's like someone standing in front of you and just throwing a rock at you as hard as you possibly can. Like, it's ridiculous. So gnarly, that place. The roost there is like level 10.
Yeah, mate, it looks absolutely gnarly. And obviously, give us your predictions, mate. We'll have to start these back up for motocross. They were pretty good value in Supercross. And what do you got, mate? Who would you be putting money on this weekend in the 450 and 250 classes?
Oh, well, I'll start with the 450. I mean, I'd have to go Jet the way he's going at the moment. I mean, he's just too consistent. He might not go 1-1, but I dare say he's going to end up he's going to end up with the overall somehow, some way. And then I'll go Plessinger second for this one. I like the way he's going at the moment. He's getting more consistency and his speed's been unreal at the moment. So I'll go him for second. And then I'll go Tomac for third. I reckon Tomac just hasn't really put two super strong motos together. Parler, he went 4-2. Hangtown, he won the first moto, then had that blunder in the second moto with the start and the crash. And then, High Point, he went 4-2 again. And, went 3-2, sorry. Yeah, he went third the first moto, yeah. Yeah, it just hasn't, for some reason, he just, apart from the one at Hangtown, he just hasn't been solid in the first motos to put himself in a good spot for the overall, which, a third in Moto 1 is nothing to sneeze about. But when you're going toe-to-toe with Jet Lawrence, you're going to need every point you can get because, man, I mean, the guy's just almost unstoppable at the moment. So, it'll be Jet first, Plessinger second, Tomac third for me. And then 250s, far out. This is going to be tough. I mean, Ty Masterpill did win last year, but he's had a bit of a rough start to the season this year. I'm going to go out and say, I know he had a little bit of a rough one at High Point, but I think Shimoda gets it. I'm going out of the box here. I'm going Shimoda 1, Hymas 2. I'm going to HRC 1, 2. And then I'm going Deegan third. I think I'm not going to say the cage is rattled, but it's shown that he is beatable, and the boys have got a sniff now. They're not afraid to go after the young man.
Oh, mate, hopefully it pans out like that. It'll be an awesome weekend of racing, which it should be anyway. And obviously, shout out to Liam Owens getting 5th overall in EMX 250 in Latvia, mate. Absolutely rode like a champion after he was on the pod, so he's really gathering some great momentum. He obviously made that MX2 World Championship debut. He's holding his own in EMX 250, so shout out to him. He's doing a great job. And obviously, before we wrap up, mate, what's the weekend ahead looking like for you? Hitting the links, no doubt. Any final thoughts as we wrap up, mate? It's good to get back in the swing of these after the Euro trip's over.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been some serious work because I put myself in a real hole over in Europe with the waistline. We put on a few kilos, and then not only that, when I got home, I was just eating flat out, especially on the weekend when I was laid up in bed with my back. So I was burning no calories. Bloody eating just absolute rubbish. So I've really put myself in a hole in terms of the weight. So I've really had to rein that thing back in. I've had to fire up the treadmill again to get that going, and then I've had to start walking at the golf course because I can't get the cart. I got to get the steps in, get this thing down. But no, I haven't got a crazy amount on this weekend. We got we've got one of my mate's kids' first birthday on Friday, so that'll be cool. We're playing golf on Sunday, obviously, and then other than that, not a crazy amount. Be watching the footy. Probably lose a bit of money on the footy this weekend if I had to guess, but hopefully that changes. We've been on a real losing streak in terms of the bets at the moment. So we got to pick it back up this weekend. Get ourselves back in the green.
Oh, mate, it's absolutely dialed. Yeah, have a good one. Enjoy it, mate. We'll catch up again next week. And obviously, massive shout out to the fans for listening and supporting this one. As always, greatly appreciated. And obviously, shout out to the sponsors in Fly Racing, Firepower, Dirt Store, and Fuchs Silkaline for all the incredible support. As without them, none of this would be possible. All right, thanks again, Jats, mate. Been a ripper podcast, and we'll catch up next week.
Hell yeah, mate. Sounds good.
No worries, mate. Have a good one.